Welcome to the 32nd and final part of the 2023 NFL Draft and Review. We're going to be taking a look, of course, at the Arizona Cardinals, who are pretty much top odds of being the last team next year, too, and for even worse reasons than this year. But before we get to the picks, this team is going to get a bit of a tangent out of me because there is particularly within the Cardinals fandom, a sentiment that Kyler Murray is not the quarterback of the future for this team. That he has somehow failed this team by any number of reasons. The injury, the alleged lack of work ethic centered around him playing Call of Duty, which is fucking asinine. And I just can't help but look at this like an even more intensive situation of what teams like the Raiders, Seahawks, Saints, Packers, and others have done to their quarterbacks in recent memory. What the fuck is Kyler Murray supposed to do with this team? I'm honestly curious. What is he supposed to do? They have no running game. They have no top receiver now that DeAndre Hopkins is gone. The only tight end worth a fuck they have is an aging Zach Ertz. The offensive line is honestly almost as fucking horrendous as it was before he was drafted. The defense is probably the worst in the league I've seen for the small spattering of good players like Budda Baker, Kaiser White, Isaiah Simmons. The rest is just awful. This is the sort of defense that sets records for ineptitude this coming season. You know, you can pretty plainly expect any offense worth a damn to put 40 on this team. Their special teams game is probably the best on the whole damn team, and that is not something that should be true ever. You know, they just fired the head coach and general manager. Of course, then they hired another guy who's heavily overrated to be the head coach, and I believe it was the assistant general manager of the Tennessee Titans, who just committed the cardinal sin of copying the Patriots and are now in the process of imploding. So, literally, what is Kyler Murray supposed to do? It just baffles me that anyone would blame the quarterback with a team like this. This team is awful. What is he supposed to do? You know, a stat line like Mahomes' best season wouldn't save this shit. You know, we saw what this team did back when it actually still had some pieces and he was healthy. You know, they basically just, after losing to Green Bay, the entire team basically said, fuck it. By the time the playoffs rolled around, even Kyler had quit and they got blown out by the Rams. You know, this team has not had discipline because Cliff Kingsbury's an idiot. Steve King or Keem, or whatever the hell his name is, was one of the biggest jokes of a general manager to be running a semi-successful team in terms of on-the-field results. But people blame the quarterback because I guess Kyler Murray is supposed to be the entire offense by himself. And somehow inspire the defense to play like 5 times better than any of them actually are. It's just not making sense in my head. I'm annoyed. So, I won't be surprised if Kyler Murray's not on this team next year, and I'm going to laugh when this team goes like 2-15 as a result. They're probably going to go like 3-14 with him because this team is shit, but still, they will go further down. You can bet on it. So, bringing us to the actual draft picks, we have the first one up, offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. Now, this is honestly, to me, one of those selections of trying to find your TV remote when the house is burning down. There are so many other places the Cardinals could have gone. They could have fixed their running game by picking Bijan Robinson. They could have gotten themselves a receiver who will probably be better than any of these guys in Jackson Smith and Jigba. They could have, upgraded the guard position instead of selecting a tackle when they have like 9 of them. They could have gotten a defensive end or an outside linebacker, because holy shit, this team fucking needs a pass rush, something fierce. Good job trading the pick to the Texans that would have given you Will Anderson, by the way. Fucking morons. You could have even gone for a corner and gotten somebody better than anybody on this team. There's just so many weak positions on this team that they could have addressed, and instead they select presumably the best offensive lineman in the class. Now, I won't shit on Paris Johnson. He's, from all I've seen of him so far, he looks like a pretty good player, but what is an offensive lineman going to do when a team is fucking Swiss cheese like this? This is the pick you make when offensive line is your problem, not when the team is falling apart at the goddamn seams. But here we go. We'll take a look, and I'll try and get over my irritation with how consistently poorly run the Cardinals are as a franchise. Okay, so he can play a bit of guard, too. That's interesting. That's not a particularly good play. Okay, I roughly know what this is going to result in. This is, I would say, definitely an offensive lineman that needs a little work and not getting beaten by pass rushing moves. Kind of needs to brick wall a little better, just, not get driven back into the quarterback. Even when we've got a mobile quarterback, you don't want to get driven in, closes the pocket, and can sometimes let someone else get a sack. But knowing the Cardinals, what's going to happen here is they're going to do everything in their power to put this guy up against pass rushers that he is not ready for. I'm talking the Aaron Donalds of the league. You can bet when the Rams come through, the Cardinals are going to try and drop Johnson on Aaron Donald, and Kyler Murray will probably get destroyed 2 or 3 plus times every time it happens. So I hope Kyler Murray's healthy, because he's definitely going to be taking some heat off one of these edges as Johnson settles into the NFL game. So, next up, we've got a defensive end, B.J. Ojulari. This says he's moving over to outside linebacker, which I can agree with, because the Cardinals do not have fuck all at offensive or outside linebacker. Now, it says he was mostly playing defensive end in college, wasn't a particularly special pass rusher there. Maybe they're kind of betting on him doing better from a linebacker position if that's how they're going to play this. But decent tackles, not bad impact on the run game, but obviously this team needs a pass rush and they need somebody to, step up and put some numbers up here, because otherwise it is going to be a very, very long season on defense, because honestly, I'm struggling to think of many quarterbacks that aren't going to be able to dice that secondary. So we're going to come over here, take a look at B.J. Ojulari.
Nothing in the middle.
11, ninth in there. Went his gap. Also saw 18 Ojulari.
Been leading defensive walkthroughs every day at 2:15, and they are paying off as Beaton
Sets him up the field, beats him inside, right to the corner of that play because of the quickness of B.J. Ojulari.
Is so thankful Brian Harsin gave him this opportunity and allowed him
came out there. Jay Ward's returning it for LSU, and Jay Ward returns it for a score.
And this right here, this is exactly what we talked about earlier with Robbie.
Sacked. Ojulari. Fourth sack.
Great pass rush. You can see Ojulari start to the outside, get Jones going, and then beat him back inside. And it just takes way too long.
Bad. We got a holding penalty that's going to wipe this one away. Unless it's a sack. Ojulari comes up with another big one. Second sack this possession. That one's a lot. First and 10. A-Chain bottled up. And they bring him down.
So loud here at Tiger Stadium. Rodgers. He just had to shuffle it ahead as they were closing in.
And forces the move there.
Three-man rush, and Ojulari gets free and tracks him down.
And Troxel really doesn't have any chance. He gets engaged, then gets way too far out in front of his toes. Ojulari's able to trap.
Dart. The pressure's coming again. He's going down again. LSU takes over on downs.
Alright, so given his stature and speed, I would say that this is kind of your classic linebacker that teams will use to try and keep a containment on mobile quarterbacks. Obviously, those are becoming more and more common in the NFL. There's a fair number in the NFC that the Cardinals will probably have to contend with. So having a player that can run that can run quarterbacks down, that this kind of makes it a bit better of a pick. But they're definitely going to have to coach him up a little, I think, because you do need more production than like 5 sacks a season. 17-game season, that's not a very good ratio of sacks to games. If it's gonna be somebody who's not gonna have that monster 15-20 sack number, then I'd like to see a guy who can at least get 10. At least be somebody the offensive line has to actually account for and pay attention to every game, instead of a guy that gets lucky off a slipped bab, a messed up assignment, or somebody else distracting the lineman. So it's one of those ones of probably be a starter very early on, but might take a couple of years to develop into a good pass rusher, and the Cardinals have not exactly had the greatest patience with that in recent memory. Remember, this is a team that got rid of Chandler Jones. How smart are they? So, next up we've got a corner out of Syracuse, Garrett Williams. This is one of those players that I feel bad for, because you, sir, are stepping into an extremely bad situation. Reasonable chance, in spite of being a third-rounder, that you'll get significant playing time against some wide receivers more than likely to overmatch him entirely. And, yeah, and coming off a missed season. I don't know. Not missed season. Don't know why the 2023 is there. That would actually be really funny to me if a player actually said, fuck that, I'm going back to college. To the Cardinals. But yeah. Declining number of tackles, but also a declining number of games. So I would say there's probably been a couple of injuries here. Not the greatest hands. But, like I said, the Cardinals are so thin on this spot that he might be playing quite a bit. So let's hope they didn't manage to bite another bullet in the process of destroying the team for about the 50th time in my lifetime.
Position. Do you take a shot? The answer is yes. Looking for the tight end.
Good interception. Not the greatest balance.
Williams is just waiting. Sees him come out, releases his man to the gamer.
Armstrong looking at Thompson. Batted down. Garrett.
Only Drew Brees has more with 12. He's going to the outside for Jones. Incomplete.
Just in time, and this is the matchup we've talked about all day. 8 versus 15. Look at this.
Uyunglele. Incomplete. Threw it a little behind Ross, who won. From the 37. Uyunglele to Davis Allen, and it's Williams.
As you said, Syracuse playing with all the momentum.
Quick pass to Addison. That's going nowhere.
Touchdowns, a couple of them for Huggins Bruce, one for Harrell, one for Watkins.
Being accurate.
On 2nd and 10, Grossell keeps it. He's going nowhere. Great pressure in the backfield.
Watch number 8 come downhill. This is what you need to have. Grossell stumbled a little. Oh! I'm going to bring it.
Not anymore. Here's the give to Sinkfield, and he's hit in the backfield by Williams, who's been all over the...
And this offensive line does a good job.
Scratch now with the Cards. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Cunningham with space to his left. Loads it up. Fires. Man open. Picked off.
Williams, when guys leave your zone, leave your area for work, he decides to fall back in.
Last week. And he takes it here. And he's marked short. It's 4th.
Travis out to McDonald, who's met immediately by...
From the 37. Uyunglele to Davis Allen, and it's Williams who gets it in the backfield.
So, yeah, I'm not really seeing much particularly special there, but this guy's going to end up on the field more than likely, so like I said, any Cardinals fans, I expect this to be an extremely long season when it comes to stopping teams from throwing the ball on you. Anyone with a quality quarterback and good receivers is going to torment you. Like, I wouldn't be that shocked to see a couple of 400-yard games put on this secondary. So, just have to be how it is. So, next up comes wide receiver Michael Wilson. And this is one of those instances of welcome to a easy yet hard situation. The easy part is you've got a lot of guys that aren't that good in your way from being a prominent receiver on this team. The bad news is there's a lot of them, and basically all of them have experience. So, automatically, you're kind of losing this fight, because this team's got Marquise Brown, Greg Dortch, Rondale Moore, and Zach Pascal. Like I said, none of these guys are particularly special, but that's 4 guys you gotta prove you're better than to have a real chance, and you've got to do that probably while not getting the greatest chance to show off, because you're the rookie, they're not. But, like I said, we'll go back to the statistics real quick, and... oh my dear fucking God, what... This is why the Cardinals suck. This is why. This is what they do. If it's a year where they are absolute dog shit and need something, no matter what, though, they will find their player. You know, Kyler Murray, Larry Fitzgerald, guys like those. The Cardinals will always find a way to find the one fucker that will be unfortunate enough to be loyal enough to this train wreck to sacrifice their career trying to fucking push the boulder up a hill. But if they need help, they go and do this. They draft a receiver with this stat line in the fucking third round. And yes, there's injuries here. That obviously cut the stats down, but you don't take a flyer on a player like this. That is 3 straight years. 3! This team just breaks me sometimes. Well, let's get it over with.
The 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. It basically works because you lose heat through your extremities.
And there's a touchdown by the Cardinal. Wilson wasn't cool. He was hot on that grab. Under Neville Clark. And making it.
Right at the 100-yard mark now as McKee throws. And there's Wilson. And Wilson upfield. Wilson makes a man miss. Will be able to take this all the way? Yes, sir.
7 of Notre Dame. Mills looking long for Wilson.
There we go.
Touchdown. How about that pump fake, Spence? It was very subtle.
Third down for the Cardinal. McKee trying to go up top. Wilson. Unbelievable snap by Michael Wilson. Second touchdown of the game.
Good pocket for Mills. And into Oregon State territory. Michael Wilson to catch and run. Wilson spun around to the Oregon State 25.
Okay. If he stays healthy, I could see him being worth it, but that is way too much of a gamble for me to stomach. This is a player that has missed half the season or more 3 years in a row, and that was in college. You really expect the injury bug to suddenly go away when he hits the pros? I don't think so. This is one of those picks of you take it in the 6th round and hope that the injury bug goes away, and if not, you've given up virtually nothing. This is a 3rd round selection. You can easily get top quality value in the 3rd round, and like I said, this is why the Cardinals suck. This is what they do. This is what they always do. It's what they'll always will continue to do, and thus they'll always suck. Just like they always have. There's a reason that most of the records for incompetence in this league are owned by this franchise, not the Lions. Though most people would think that the Lions are the worst team. So, the next player up, I wasn't actually able to find a substantial video for. This is offensive guard John Gaines II. It says that he's probably going to be playing backup to Will Hernandez, so not a great chance we're going to see much of him, at least as a rookie, but with how the Cardinals go through offensive linemen because they're fucking incompetent at putting a good offensive line together, give it a year or two, and then we'll probably see him hit the field. And knowing the Cardinals, by that point, they'll probably have ruined him. It'll look just as bad as everybody else that's come through there in the last about 10 years. So, next up, we've got a quarterback, and this is at the point of which I would just be, if I'm Kyler Murray, I say, okay, fuck you, I'm gone. Even if it's a 5th rounder, this is disrespect. Just plain and simple disrespect. Because I see no reason, other than maybe Colt McCoy's experience, that Toon shouldn't basically be the automatic backup on this team. And that means if anything happens to Murray, that means he gets a chance to take Murray's job, because the Cardinals are pretty clearly looking for scapegoats that are not named Michael Bidwell. So, yeah. Not the first time I've seen a pretty impressive quarterback statistically come out of Houston. Obviously, Case Keenum was pretty damn good in college, too. Very consistent interception numbers, 10 3 years in a row, and an increasing touchdown number to go with it each season. So, take a look and see if the Cardinals have gotten a good backup quarterback who will probably be their starter within 2 years.
Toon keeps it, bounces outside, dives for the first down. They might try to go big boy ball here. A 3rd and 3. Toon, corner, open, caught,
Tank Dell, touchdown. What do you expect this year?
This was the call the whole way. Toon was looking for his man who's deadly down. He's got that 1 foot down, got possession of the football. Faces, but I'm putting this on Houston. Get the ball to your playmakers.
2nd and 6. They show blitz and come from the corner. Toon's throw to the opposite side. Caught there. That's Golden, and he's got wheels. Golden inside the 20, and a big play for Houston. The Cougars roll into UTSA territory.
This is a great job of Toon getting the ball to Golden that did a great job of creating space. Boom, he puts his foot into the ground and makes Mayfield, the cornerback who was in coverage, miss, and Houston's marching.
Toon again. Dell with the catch. Slides through. Tank Dell to the Toon. Time. Back of the end zone. Tank's got it. Touchdown, Houston. Big moment. And a big score.
That's the play they needed. Feed your playmakers. Just his 3rd target of the game. He's had 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. Just wide open.
Toon. Time and oh, it's gone! Sliding catch, man jack, touchdown Houston.
Guy with a bowl cut is going through it.
The 4th, the transfer from USC. As good a catch as you'll see on this Saturday.
2 targets, 2 catches. Beautifully thrown football. Because it's thrown so early, Manjack can't.
Toon's in trouble. Tightrope walk escapes. Fires for a 1st down.
Okay, so what I can see here is he looks like he's got pretty good field vision. He can actually find open receivers. And that is more than I can say for the quarterback that the Cardinals drafted that ended up getting them Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen. But like I said, I can't really shake the feeling that this is basically just Kyler Murray, but a 5th rounder. The intention is plainly obvious if you know how Arizona sports teams work. They will basically every time scapegoat somebody who is not the problem, whether that is the offensive star, the defensive captain, one of the coaches who is actually doing his job. It doesn't matter. As long as blowbacks do not come back on the decision-making of Bidwell and the people that he hires to run this fucking team. So I see this as a potentially direct threat to Kyler Murray, the long-term future with Arizona Cardinals. And frankly, I say fine. I just hope that Kyler Murray basically says that I do not accept any trades. You can cut me. You're not getting shit for me. Pull the fucking, Barry Sanders routine if you have to. Go play baseball for a season or 2. People can clown on that take if they want. That I'm just done with the Cardinals being run like this. This is it's not bad for the league, but it makes me question how the Cardinals survived the 40s and 50s when teams used to fold. So next up, we've got linebacker Owen Pappoe from Auburn. And this is an inside linebacker pick, so automatic backup selection, because this team's got Kaiser White and Ashai Simmons. So, not a lot of chance for this guy to really do anything. Unless there's injuries. You never know. This is tolerable inside linebacker production. 90 tackles the 2 years that he was pretty much fully on the field, except for that first one. Not bad. Got a mediocre pass rushing stats, not a lot of impact on the run game. But generally speaking, does an alright job, so this could be a reasonably quality backup pick.
Clifford, pressure coming. He's going to run away from it and get the first. Oh,
oof,
maybe he didn't get the first down. The ball is out, and it's out of.
Papo, who was injured in this game a year ago, just tried to injure the. Keep your eyes up when you're running because that is closing fast.
Blitz, quarterback run. Dart makes a man miss and picks up the first down. Lost the football. It's on the deck. Who's got it to recover?
Steiner runs right by him. He's got big bodies leading out front. Shakes off that first tackle, and then the ball gets. Did Kaufman try to just pick it up instead of fall on it? Watch number 1 right.
Hazelwood in the backfield. K.J. Jefferson tries to throw it. He's in the grasp, gets the pass away. They're going to say.
And you have run action, so it's really a play action. But Owen, he does a nice job. He's coming off of the edge, and, you know, somebody's got to be able to account for him.
On 3rd and 10. Whitman taken down eventually. Oh, Papo, first man there in Auburn.
Some right here. He's going to get double teamed at first. He's going to fight through it, keep fighting. Boy, he worked through about 3 guys there. Nowhere.
Nelson dumps it off to Williams, and that's not going anywhere. Owen Papo.
Yeah, like I said, decent backup selection. Just if you got to plug him in because something happens, then you should be okay. But not going to really help that much with a defense this bad. So you win some, you lose some with that one. Next, we've got our corner, Keitrell Clark from Louisville. And this is basically a similar situation to the other guy that was picked at this position. Welcome to have been a scenario where you're not out of the woods by default, despite being a 7th rounder. Enjoy getting mauled if they put you on the field. Well, then again, sometimes these guys actually kind of rise to the occasion, but usually I see that 5th, 6th round corner get on the field, do well. That's usually for a team that's actually good at defense, and the Cardinals are not, so do the math. And as usual, extremely high pass deflection numbers, not a lot of interceptions. It doesn't seem to do a particularly good job at returning them either. Nah, I know college football's rules are different, and frankly, I think the down if you go down at all is kind of stupid. But that's just how it is, so unfortunately, just makes him kind of look bad returning kick or interceptions. The tackle numbers aren't too bad, and gets them a little more involved in the run stopping game, I think, than a good number of other corners I see, but still.
Devin Leary
for a defensive player.
He's going to heave this one. Long pass to the sideline and incomplete.
You know, you'd like to see Lassane, if you're Devin Leary, leave you a little bit more room to the sideline. Kind of gets one.
Milton heaves it downfield for Parchment. Adjusting, and it's intercepted. Trey Clark
trying him on this drive. We saw the pass interference penalty before. They have been going at him with Parchment. Just a greatly underthrown, and he turns around and makes a heck of a play on this thing. Hand fighting.
Has that left-handed pass dialed in. Up for grabs. It goes incomplete. Trying to get it out to Keaton.
A negative thing for him so far.
In the 4th quarter, up until that 4th quarter wasn't there for him.
That ball's loose. They're ruling that an incomplete pass.
Money game. This is a money game for Keitrell Clark. You look at these great wide receivers from Wake.
And Slovis got hit. That ball's out. I think players thought there was going to be a whistle. Keitrell Clark has picked it up and is running to the end zone.
On the ground, out of the slow mesh. Turner got popped over there by Jones. Ball.
A lot of chirping going on right now. I'm okay with the physicality, but we've seen that called in a lot of games.
The defensive coordinator. And that ball was picked off down the sideline. Touchdown for Trey Clark.
This is just a really great job by Clark, staying right on top of his receiver, triggering down, activating those legs.
But like I said, I'm not really seeing much that says a starting caliber player for a player who's probably going to have to play at least a little because, as I've said a couple times, this Cardinals defense is trash. So that'll bring us to the final selection. Defensive tackle Dante Stills out of West Virginia. Very, very inconsistent numbers here. 8 sacks, 2 sacks, 7 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 9.5, 15, 9. Dude, please get some consistency. I would say that's probably why he ended up in the 6th round. But not a bad stat line, and this is another reasonable position of weakness, so I would say this guy's probably at least the backup to this spot, so it's probably one of these two in the middle.
Receivers in the game. Some mistakes, some mental errors in this game by going off sides. But when you want your best players to step up, they're running. West Virginia, Evans has checked back into the backfield. This is from the pistol, and it's Evans. And move, stiff arm, and he just got leveled. Dante Stills came up and delivered the blow when McClendon was looking at the other guy giving a stiff arm. Ouch, ouch, the true freshman. Listen to this. Wow. He just comes up and delivers a huge blow. Not the shot he...
I'm actually going to check here real quick just to be sure. Yeah, it just says general defensive lines. That suggests he was playing mid defensive tackle and defensive ends. So I would probably actually move him to the end spot because that seems to be more his style and size. And at least this says the Cardinals are agreeing with that. So that could be an interesting backup selection, maybe even a, starter, because this is another position where the Cardinals are not very strong. So this class is kind of a very mixed bag for me. Just considering my bias of being fed up with the Cardinals actively shooting themselves in the foot every possible way that can be done in the game of football, it makes me want to give this an F, but ultimately there's some pretty good potential pieces here, so I can't do that. Paris Johnson, B.J. Ojulari, those, I think, crank it up a few spots. There's potential value to be had in Michael Wilson, maybe Clayton Tune, Dante Stills, but that's got to kind of bounce the right way, and in Clayton Tune's way, the right way for him could probably be the wrong way for the Cardinals, so it's just one of those ones that I can't really, in good faith, give this more than a D+. It's just the Cardinals' failure as an organization, once again exemplified. I've said this for probably 2 or 3 other Cardinals drafts I've looked at over the last 5 years. And this is no different. This is what happens when you hire from a franchise that is in the process of shitting itself. So yeah, D+. That's going to do it for today's video. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you want to upload next, share the video around with your friends, follow me on Twitter if you like, and I'm not sure exactly what day I'm going to do it on, but soon enough I'm going to be pulling the yearly record prediction out of the bag, and that is something that I'm usually pretty good at. Picking games is something that I do pride myself on doing a good job of, so we'll see you then.